Welcome back, movie lovers. Today's story is a creepy episode that serves up a suspenseful and eerie atmosphere throughout. The lessons about fear in this episode and facing our fears are applicable to people of all ages and make the episode more than just a simple horror story. The story starts off in a beautiful old house, where we see Jack and his sister Jenny being nosy while eavesdropping on their grandfather and one of his clients' conversations outside of his office during their therapy session. They hear him asking his client to open up about her fear of spiders. He takes out an old-fashioned antique tape recorder and starts recording the conversion. As the woman is telling him about her fear, the grandfather hears the kids bickering loudly outside the door. He hears them say that eavesdropping is boring. Over dinner, he tells the kids that he won't be helping people with their fears for much longer because he is retiring soon, and tonight is his retirement dinner, where he is being honored for a lifetime of achievement in the field of psychiatry. The kids ask him what he is afraid of. He jokes that he's scared that their parents will think he's not feeding them well. The kids want him to be honest and tell them if he really is afraid of anything at all. He says he isn't scared of anything, but you can tell by his facial expression that he's lying. Jenny asks him exactly what he does to help his patients get over all of their fears. He goes on to say that he simply gets them to face their fears and says that in order to conquer our fears, we must face them head on. Jenny says, "But that's not what you do." She said she heard him earlier asking his client to talk into a tape recorder and is baffled as to how that is helping them. She said that she too wants to be a psychiatrist when she's older, which is why she's asking so many questions. He tells her that his sessions are private and that he won't discuss his meetings with his patients. She keeps asking, and he tells her that he thinks she should be an attorney, and goes on to say that he doesn't think she's old enough to fully understand exactly what it is that psychiatrists do. Later, the grandfather leaves for his retirement dinner, and the kids stay home alone. As the grandfather leaves, we see a creepy man standing outside of their house. Jenny snoops around for the key to their grandfather's office and sneaks in to find out exactly what it is that makes him so successful in helping his patients. Jack tells her not to do it, as Grandpa told them they were not allowed in there. Jack reluctantly goes along with Jenny to snoop. She wants to play a game, where she pretends she's the psychiatrist and Jack is the patient. They want to use their grandfather's tape recorder just like he does with his clients. Jenny goes to hit record but hits rewind by mistake. They then hear their grandfather talking with his client from earlier that day. They are talking about her fear, about how she is petrified of spiders. The grandfather says when you walk out that door, your fear is left here. Then Jenny freaks out because she sees a big spider on the chair walking right behind Jack's head. They think it's weird that as soon as they hear the client talk about a spider, they see one, but then it disappears. They continue to play their little game, and Jenny asks Jack to tell her his biggest fears. He tells her that his worst fear was when he saw a killer dog. She doesn't believe him. He then tells her that when he was around 6 years old, he saw a dog on TV that was evil and it could easily rip your throat out. He says sometimes when he sees a shadow at night, he's positive it's the dog. Jenny then says exactly what her grandfather says to his clients, that when Jack leaves this office, his fear will be left behind. They then switch roles, so now Jack is playing their grandfather and Jenny is playing the client. He puts on this cute, serious act of what he thinks his grandfather is like with his clients and asks her what her worst fear is. She tells him that sometimes she has the exact same nightmare of a person hiding in her closet. A crazy woman, but she can't see her face because it's covered by a stocking. But she knows that the woman is a maniac with long, sharp red fingernails like claws. And in her nightmare, she knows that if she goes near the closet, the woman is going to scratch her eyes out, but she always goes to the closet anyway. She doesn't even know why. In her nightmare, she opens the closet and the woman chases her, and no matter what she does, it's no use, that no one can hear her screams. Then she wakes up. She said when she wakes up, she's scared that she will see her in real life. Jack is scared of her story and says he's not playing anymore, but Jenny wants to hear what their voices sound like. As they are listening back to the tape, the boy thinks he hears something upstairs. Guys, I would be diving headfirst out of that window if I were home alone in that big old house and heard something or someone upstairs. No thanks. Jenny tells him to stop acting like a baby because he doesn't want to play anymore, but she agrees to stop and goes out of the room with him. As they are cleaning up the kitchen, Jack sees a dog standing in the hallway. They both panic, run upstairs with the dog chasing them. They make it safely to one of the rooms, and the dog just stops barking as if it had disappeared. They quickly realize it has to be connected to their grandfather's tape recorder, but then that would also mean that Jenny's fear would become real too. They then see the woman in the closet and try to run out the front door, but it's just like her dream, and in her dream nothing works. So now the doors won't open. Jack tries to pick up the phone to call his grandfather, but the phone melts away in his hand. A true nightmare is coming to life. The woman and dog then appear in front of them, and the woman is laughing in a creepy, evil cackle kind of way. Jenny says to Jack to remember what Grandpa said, to face your fears. So they hold on to what their grandfather says and take a deep breath and visualize their fears going away. She tells Jack to concentrate on his breathing and to mimic hers and focus only on your fears going away. They count their breaths together, and just like that, both of their fears are gone. I could dive deep into that scene right there. Long story short, the law of attraction is real, my friends, and where your focus goes, energy flows. And while focused on the good, their fears went away. Then they hear a voice say, nice fine chilling way, that he is someone who is not going away, no matter how deeply they breathe. He then makes fun of her for saying in, out, while taking obnoxiously deep breaths. I wonder if during the making of that scene if the kids were scared in real life. Because he is a good actor and plays the part well. Extremely creepy man. He asks them where their grandfather is. Jenny lies and says he's downstairs and that he has a gun. The creepy stranger laughs at them and says he suspects that their grandfather is at his retirement dinner, so he knew where he was from the start. He said that he didn't need the grandfather, that he needed the box of fears, and asked them where it was before he hurt them. He goes on to say that their grandfather is a fraud, but the boy interrupts, defending their grandpa. Their grandfather finally gets home. He is shocked to see the familiar face standing in front of him. The kids run to him, clinging on to him. They ask him if it's true that he is a fraud. To their surprise, the grandfather says yes, he is a fraud, because he takes away people's fears, yet he's the most fearful of them all. The stranger tells the kids that he and their grandpa met 35 years ago. He said he was the one who showed their grandfather the box to make him successful. He said their grandfather's career was only successful because he was able to fix and heal every patient that went to him, making him a very rich man. The grandfather said that he tried to help the creepy man all those years ago, but he was too afraid. The stranger goes on to say that he is fear itself, and that he is the great black river of terror, sustained and nourished by all people's fears. He feeds and thrives off of people's fear. The grandfather then agrees to give him the box. The creepy man enjoys the fear on the Jack's face and says he wants a picture of that fear on his wall. Creep. He gets excited, telling them that he's going to use that box to release all of its dark energy onto the world. Jenny goes to get the box but won't give it to him because she's afraid. Once again, Mr. Creep gets a bit too excited hearing how terrified she is, and wants to know in great detail of what she's afraid of. She then turns on the fear recorder and says she's afraid of fear, that she was afraid of the stranger. He looks shocked and stares at Jenny, then is sucked into the tape recorder. Then the tape recorder immediately disappears. Later that night, we see the kids talking about their grandfather, and they discuss how they think he isn't a bad man for making money off of his clients, that he just made a mistake, but he did also help them. The story ends there. I hope you liked this video and stick around for the next one. Until next time, take care, guys.